The Toronto Blue Jays just picked up a massive win against the Tampa Bay Rays, and they just won the series 2 games to 1. And you could even argue that they should have gotten the sweep. But this was a very impressive 3 games out of Toronto's bullpen, out of Toronto's offense, and their defense as well. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. I hope you're enjoying this NFL football Sunday, and I hope you enjoyed that Toronto Blue Jays victory because their magic number, I'm not sure what it is now. Is it 3, Nick?
4, I believe.
Might 4 or 3. They're very close. They are this close to a playoff berth, and who knows if they're going to play Tampa in the first round. But if any of these 3 games are an indication of whether or not they can hang with the Rays, I think we should feel pretty good going into the playoffs because the Jays played them tough. We obviously know that the Rays are missing a lot of regulars from their lineup. They have a lot of injuries as well, but this is basically the team. This is the team that they're going to be rolling with, and the Jays proved that they can hang with them, and I was very impressed with these 3 games, Nick. Hopefully they can keep it going in the Yankees series and shrink that magic number just a little bit more.
Yeah, and this was about as perfect of a series, aside from yesterday's game, that the Jays could have played, and the out-of-town scoreboard helped as well. So we'll get into that before we do. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 8,300. And like you said, Peter, the Rays have a few injuries, but over the years, it doesn't really matter who the Rays put on the field. They always manage to have a phenomenal season and beat the Blue Jays, especially at the Trop. I believe this is their first series win since 2021 at the Tropicana Field. And let's just discuss what's happening, in this game. And then we'll also discuss the out-of-town scoreboard and how perfect this series was for the Blue Jays. And just, what a time to be a Jays fan right now. But George Springer had the game. 1 for 5 might not look good. And if you didn't watch the game, you kind of didn't see the heroic stuff that George Springer was doing. He had an inside-the-park home run. He had an unbelievable catch. He had an unbelievable outfield assist. He was fantastic. Bo Bichette had a home run. Vladdy had 2 home runs. Peter Varsho's getting back on track. And Whit Merrifield. All I know is that lately, I don't know what it's been the past few games, even the past week, the Jays are the team that we thought they were going to be the whole season coming into the season. The offense is coming alive. The pitching is, although Yusei Kikuchi struggled today, the bullpen is elite. I don't know, the team's starting to do exactly what we were praying for a while. Even when we gave up hope a little bit, and a lot of Jays fans gave up hope, they hooked us right back in, and they're looking like by far the best series of the year, the most important series of the year, and the team looks really good.
Yeah, they were clicking on all fronts. And we got to give a huge shout out to Trevor Richards for coming in the 5th inning and giving them 2 big-time innings of relief. Yusei Kikuchi didn't have his best stuff today. He's kind of faded a little bit here down the stretch. He only lasted 4 innings today. John Schneider hooked him a little bit early, and I was okay with that. He didn't have his good stuff today. And Trevor Richards came in. He's been struggling big time, and he comes in against this tough Rays lineup, and he gets 6 massive outs. Then Eric Swanson comes in, does the job in the 8th inning. Obviously, Jimmy Garcia, not what you want to see, gave up that 2-run home run to Isaac Paredes, but everything worked out today. I mean, the defense was good. Kevin Biggio made that very nice play as well, probably saved a run. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit 2 home runs. Bo Bichette hit a home run. George Springer, even though he was kind of mailing it in out of the box there, ended up getting a inside the park home run. And it was just great to see some of that power come back. Varsho, a double and a triple. I mean, everything that you wanted to see from the Jays for the past 5.5 months here happened today. And hopefully they can keep it going forward. But it was just great to see this kind of performance today, and especially great to see it against the Tampa Bay Rays team that you said 2021 it's been since they won a series at the Trop. It feels like it's been since 2000, Nick, since the year I've been born, that the Jays haven't been able to go ahead and win a series over there in St. Pete. So it was great to see. Got the Yankees coming up next, and like we said, the magic number keeps getting smaller and smaller. 90 wins for the Toronto Blue Jays, and they are guaranteed a playoff spot.
Yeah, they turned the season around after, the Rangers series, and like you said, huge shout out to Varsho. And the pitching was, aside from Yusei Kikuchi, who knows how we can discuss this in future videos of the playoff, I guess, rotation is going to go, but Yusei Kikuchi, although struggling, Trevor Richards did the job, and he's been pretty iffy since coming back from the IL, but what a game for the bullpen, and this is a day where the bullpen, we needed them to step up. We knew it was a bit played coming in to this game because of, Jordan Romano was unavailable, and then Eric Swanson stepped up, and Jordan Hicks, who did end up completing the inning, is absolutely dominant. Peter, I want to touch on this for a little bit and how perfect everything is for a couple of reasons. So we'll start with the standings. Now, this isn't as of the win just then, but The Rangers are up on the Mariners right now, and they're looking for a sweep either in today's game or tomorrow's game. And Peter, this is working. We wanted, coming into this series, one team, one way or the other, in the out-of-town scoreboard between Seattle and the Rangers to sweep, so that way we would be able to create some room. The Astros are losing as well to the Kansas City Royals. They've been a free fall. We hold the tiebreaker over them. The playoff odds are 94% maybe, or over 90% now after today's win. Unbelievable situation the Jays put themselves in now, being at 87-69, and I don't know, it's worked out so perfectly. There's even a chance that Dan Shulman was discussing that the Rays are most likely not even going to be, contending for the, AL East, I guess, chip when they come to town in Toronto in about a week's time, which means maybe they don't, put their A lineup out there with all the injuries they've been doing. So I don't know. It's very, very exciting if you're a Jays fan. And Peter, the playoffs are just seeming more and more likely, and it could not have been a more perfect weekend over the past 3 days.
Right. So the magic number that I was talking about is actually three. I said 90 wins guarantees the Toronto Blue Jays a playoff spot. I mean, they're at 87 right now, so I'm no mathematician, but I know 90 minus 87 is 3, so 3 more wins, and the Toronto Blue Jays are in the postseason. And if we scoreboard watch a little bit here, the Baltimore Orioles are currently up 5-1 on the Guardians, so they're going to move 2.5 games ahead if they hold on of the Tampa Bay Rays. So with 6 games remaining in the season, 2.5 games. I think the Orioles also have the tiebreaker on the Rays, if I'm not mistaken. So that's 3.5 games pretty much, and that's a big hill to climb. So Tampa Bay, with all their injury history and with all their pitchers getting sidelined as of late, I'm sure they're going to want to get into the postseason in one piece as opposed to gunning on an uphill climb for that division. So you have the Yankees. I think the Blue Jays can go ahead and actually wrap up their postseason chase in the New York series. But then once Tampa rolls around into the Rogers Center, I think the divisional race might be over by then as well. So yes, everything is working out perfectly. We've clamored for the Jays to go ahead and take care of business on their own end. And they've gone ahead and done that, as well as get some help from all the other teams that are chasing them. So this has been a perfect weekend thus far of baseball. Not a perfect weekend for some of you football fans out there, but I'll digress. This has just been a great 3 days for the Toronto Blue Jays, and we got the Yankees after the off day tomorrow. I'm just super excited. I said I didn't want the playoffs. I'm backtracking big time right now. I want playoff baseball, and I want them to go on a run, because who doesn't love playoff ball?
Yeah, and the biggest thing out of all this, and I think most Jays fans can agree, is scoreboard watching aside, squeaking into the playoffs aside, their team is playing like a playoff team in the last week. They're not just squeaking in. The offense has come alive a little bit. Who knows if that'll sustain itself for the last week of the season, but they're playing like a team that can actually do damage, and that's kind of why I'm pretty excited for this. And one final thing before we wrap up, and this is a bit of a specific thing, but it came out that the Rays are bumping back Aaron Civale's next start since he's been a bit under the weather. So he will not pitch against the Blue Jays in the final series of the season. Whether that actually matters, who knows, because maybe the Jays will be clinched by the time they come to town. But this has some, good impact for the Jays during the regular season, but it could also mean that Glasnow and Civale are lining up for the wildcard games 1 and 2 if it comes down to that. But regardless, it's been a perfect weekend if you're a Jays fan, and hopefully the Jays can go ahead and take care of business starting Tuesday after their off day tomorrow. The rest of the games are at the Rogers Center, where they've struggled a little bit compared to the road this year, but I have full faith in this team again, and I don't know. It's the best pitching I've ever seen as a Jays fan in my lifetime, especially bullpen-wise. And Peter, I'm excited for the ride. Any quick thoughts here before we wrap up?
Yeah, it's exciting, and we were quick to write them off against that after that Texas series, and that's definitely our bad. I mean,
Everyone did.
But how could you not, though? How could you not after getting swept in 4 straight games against the Texas Rangers? And that was such a crucial series. We kept repeating the fact that, we're going to look at the standings at the end of the year, and that's going to be a big factor in those standings. And ultimately, it might not even matter at the end of the day for the Toronto Blue Jays, because they're playing some really good baseball right now. Back-to-back series wins against the Yankees and the Rays, and you had the Red Sox series win as well before that. So I mean, you have 3 series wins in a row. This is what you wanted as a Blue Jay fan, and it's just been an exciting past couple of games. The offense is starting to turn itself around, and I do believe that if the draw works in their favor, that they can go ahead and maybe do some damage. I believe a lot more than I did 10 days ago. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and either way, it's going to be a fun next week or 2 weeks or longer if the Jays take care of business. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in tomorrow's video on the off day, and enjoy a stress-free off day tomorrow. Cheers.
Thanks.